Are your legs currently not growing and you stick into your program religiously? Well, that's because programs suck and you don't need it. What you need is structure. Many gym programs that you get online miss out on key fundamentals that we need to build our legs effectively. And no, that doesn't involve swinging a kettlebell like an absolute idiot. The problem is they're given to you by so-called experts who aren't experts at all and don't actually have an understanding of the anatomy beneath the skin. My name is Peter Truick, and yes, I'm a qualified and still practicing physiotherapist. And for some people, I recommend a band, but trust me, not all physios believe in this stuff for building muscle. All right, let's get into structure. Now, bear with me, this is gonna get a little bit complicated, but by the end of the video, it'll all make perfect sense. So we're gonna break each thing down into tiers. So exercise tiers to use at different stages. So tier 1 is gonna be your heavy compound movement. Tier 2 is gonna be your heavy unilateral compound movement, so one-sided. Tier 3 is going to be exactly the same exercise as Tier 1, just done slightly differently. And then we're going to go into our isolations. We're going to go into quad isolation, so Tier 4, hamstring isolation, Tier 5, and then last but not least, the calves, Tier 6. All right, guys, so Tier 1, we're going to split it into 2 camps. We're going to split it into the first camp, which is your quad bias, full knee compression, squatting movements. And then we've got our second camp, which is going to be our hinge squat bias, where we don't get much quad compression at all. So why is this important? Well, if we go into our deep knee compression, then we're going to be slightly more quad bias. Then if we go into our hinge bias movements, we're going to be slightly more glute and hamstring bias, right? Now, I have made a video discussing exactly what's going on underneath the skin, showing you how the muscles work and why this change happens. And if you want to check that, I'll link it at the end of this one. For your quads or your deep knee compression exercises, you can do a hack squat. I love a hack squat, but you might want to put some knee sleeves on. You can do a pendulum squat, really good movement for getting deep compression. If you've got a sled leg press, for me, I really like that. And again, I can get really deep compression through it. You can do a plate wedged or wedged high bar squat or front bar squat, or any other lift where you're using both legs and you're getting good knee compression. I don't mind what it is, whatever's available in your gym on the day so you don't have to wait, do that one. Now for your hinge bias movements, I'm gonna throw the deadlift in. So either conventional or sumo. For all you haters on sumo, it doesn't make that much of a difference, but either or, and if you want to do even better, mix it up a bit because they both hinge bias movements and are gonna be more posterior chain. You can also use one of those plate loaded leg presses that lets you get really deep hip flexion, but hardly any knee flexion. You can do your normal low bar squats, which can be really good for this. Any movement, any leg press, any squat where you are hinging more than your knees are compressing, where your knees stay behind your toes, will work, and do whatever your gym has free. Now for Tier 1, you're either gonna pick hip flexion, so hinge movement, or knee flexion. You don't need both, and that is why we have Tier 3, so hang tight for that. Right, next up, Tier 2, our unilateral training. Now a lot of people go really light with this. I'm saying go really heavy with this. Again, 6 to 8 reps each side is perfect. So your working sets are not crazy long and you're putting a lot of load through the legs. So my favorites are, or any exercise you can use, Bulgarian split squat, lunge, either step forward or step back. Then you can hop onto your leg press of your choice, whichever one you've got, and you can do single leg press. Anything really where you're doing a single leg movement with a lot of weight and challenging yourself, that is going to be the best glute builder you can do, much better than wasting your time doing hip thrusts. And I've explained this in another video, so don't worry, I'll link that one at the end of this too. So let's go on to Tier 3. Now they are the exact same exercises as Tier 1, except you can't pick the same movement pattern. So if you did a hinge movement for Tier 1, you're gonna do a quad compression for Tier 3 and vice versa. So you've got 2 options here. You can either go for the slightly higher rep range, so the 10 to 12 rep range, or you can Eric Janicki the shit out of it and do like an 8-second pause in the depth and do 6 to 10 reps. That is entirely up to you and depending on how much you love yourself. Or hate yourself, but I would suggest mixing it up between days. Don't always do one or the other. All right, so now we've got our quad isolation. So yeah, go hop on the leg extension because that's the only one, right? Well, wrong. There's so many different options and a lot of them are bodyweight related. So you can hop on the leg extension and go really heavy. I absolutely love the leg extension. You can also play around with the angle of your body to include or try and exclude rec fem. That is an option. Or you can go into your reverse Nordic curl. You can add a weight to it if you like, going all the way down. then coming back up. That is an unbelievable quad exercise, loads it in the eccentric. You can also do your sissy squats, so you can do them just on the floor, going down, balance is key, coming back up. Or if you're feeling really brave, you can hop onto the hack squat machine and do your sissy squats there. All of these are unbelievable quad loaders and will work no matter what. Do whatever's free, and if nothing's free, pick one of the bodyweight options. Tier 5 next, the hamstrings. So you've got multiple options. You can do your hamstring bridges. These are fantastic. Or if you're feeling brave, you can do them single leg. Really good exercise. If you don't have one of these machines, do them on a physio ball. Or you can be a bit more generic and hop on the seated hamstring curl or the lying hamstring curl. And yes, the seated hamstring curl was shown to build slightly more muscle, but in my opinion, do a bit of both. And then you've also got your exercises like a Nordic curl. You've got your Romanian deadlifts, single leg Romanian deadlifts. All of these will be absolutely brilliant and will blow up your hamstrings. All right, guys, the elephant in the room, or not, the chickens in the room, the calves. So calves are easy, they do that. They do it with your knees bent, which is more soleus dominated. They do it with legs straight, which is more gastroc, but guess what? Soleus is the prime mover either way, and I've explained this in the video I'm gonna tag at the end of this one. Basically, you can do this any way, shape or form you like. If you live in the UK, unfortunately, your gym probably doesn't have a calf machine. But if you're lucky like mine, you have 2 calf machines, but anything can be turned into a calf machine. I'll show you what I mean in a sec. So you can hop on the pendulum machine, stand backwards, and it's got a little platform, and you can do your calves there. You can do your calves on a leg press. You can do your calves on a belt squat. You can do your calves standing on the floor with a weight in one hand and do them single leg. You can do them double legged. I would always advise going past neutral. So like on a step, when you're on the floor, that's as far down as you can go. So you're not going to get much of a stretch there. When you're on a step, you can go beyond that point, and you can do the same hanging your feet off the bottom of a leg press. So Pete, where's my isolated glute work? Well, isolated glute work belongs in one place, and that's on TikTok, because you don't need it. Your glutes are going to be working so much harder in a really heavy Bulgarian split squat, or really heavy lunge, or really heavy hinge by a squat movement, that you do not need to go and swing your leg on a cable with a really light weight to build them. Trust me. Do more sets of lunges if you want bigger glutes, or even better, do more sets of Bulgarian split squats if you want bigger glutes. So my 2 perfect leg workout sets, my favorite ones, as I said, all of them will work in a push-pull leg split. It's going to be as follows. My first day, my tier 1 is going to be a hack squat. Really loaded up. I love this movement, and wear your knee sleeves, guys. They don't help you lift more, they just make your knees feel better, so why not? My tier 2 is going to be my really heavy Bulgarian split squats. Again, one of my favorite exercises. It's one of those that when you think about it, you absolutely hate it, but after you've done a really heavy set, you absolutely love it. So that's definitely going to be included. So that's tier 1 and tier 2 sorted. Now tier 3 is going to be pushed later on in the workout. Now the reason for this is we've done a quad bias exercise, then we've done Bulgarians, which yes, hit the glutes quite hard, but they also hit the quads. So we're going to keep using the quads. We're going to take them right to failure. So I'm going to do my tier 4, which is going to be seated leg extensions. Absolutely love this exercise. Go as heavy as I can and just full send it. And yes, I put the knee sleeves between the pad and my shins, and that is because the pads in my gym are absolutely knackered. So from there, now we're going to go on to our tier 3, which in this case is going to be posterior chain bias, which is going to be deadlifts. Then from the deadlifts, we're going to go on to our hamstring isolation, which for today, unfortunately for me, is Nordic curls. I absolutely love the Nordic curl, and when I tore my hamstring, that was my favorite exercise. And my goal is to get 3 full Nordics. At the moment, I can do 1 on a good day, but probably not after doing deadlifts. Then finally, to hit the calves, I'm going to go on a standing heel raise calf machine, whichever one you have. If your gym doesn't have one, just use the leg press, but have your legs as straight as you can. And don't worry about locking out your knees, guys. Your knees are designed to lock out. So I'd rather have you lock out your knees and target gastrocnemius, which is the big calves that we all want, slightly more. So for my second workout, my tier 1 now has to be glute focused or posterior chain focused. So I'm going to hop on the leg press where I don't get much knee compression. Then I'm not going to go into tier 2 or tier 3 or tier 4. We're going to skip all the way to tier 5 and hit the hamstrings next. Now for me, this exercise, because we did a Nordic, so we didn't really get much hip movement in, I'm going to go into a seated hamstring curl. Now this is because Nordic ends off in a lying hamstring curl position. So now we just got to shift it and get slightly more stretch. So I'm going to go seated hamstring curl. From there, I'm going to go on to tier 2, which is for me is going to be step back lunges. Right, then on to tier 4, which in this workout is going to be sissy squats on the hack squat machine. Do not do this if you have biomechanical knee pain, and I have got a video discussing knee pain from way back when, so if you want to go check it out, but I would not recommend doing this if you get knee pain. If you get knee pain, just stay on the leg extension. But for me, I absolutely love this exercise. And then finishing off, last but not least, the calves again. Now I'm not going to do a seated variant. In my opinion, a seated variant with bent knees is a waste of time when it comes to calf building. So I'm going to do a single leg on a step, standing heel raise with a weight in my hand. And this is a really nice variant, and I love this exercise because my left side is so much weaker. I'm going to do it unilateral to try and build up and get rid of my imbalances. All right, guys, go give those workouts a try. And if you like them, let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you like the video, please smash that thumbs up button down below. If this is your first time watching, thank you very much for making it this far. I really appreciate your time. And if you enjoyed the video, go check out some of my other content, and hopefully one of these days I can earn that subscription from you. Until then, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.